Hello everyone, I'm Tom64.
I'm the Flameclaw.
And I'm Richie.
And welcome back to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, I guess. It was many years ago that I, along with FTA, Smoothies and Sky, ventured forth through Angel Island and its accompanying zones to take down Robotnik once and for all and thwart his Death Egg plans. Now, since this is our 15th anniversary year, we've kind of been revisiting a few games and putting a new spin on them. I wouldn't dream of trying to recreate the manic energy that comes through the FTCR lads. So Flame, Richie and myself here, we're going to be doing Knuckles' story, which we've kind of had on the back burner for a long time. And hey, what better time than now? Just a nice easy playthrough to come down from HFC All-Stars success with. Flame, Knuckles is quite different to how Sonic and Tails plays. You want to run us through a few of the finer details?
Okay, so Knuckles, he's not too different from Sonic that he's going to throw you off if you haven't got to learn like a new gameplay style for him.
Yeah.
He can climb walls. He can glide using, I think it's using his dreadlocks, I'm not quite sure how that works. But the trade-off for that is that, unfortunately, his jump is a little bit gimped. So, you can't quite do as many cool jumping tricks as you could with Sonic. But that's okay, because Sonic 3 and Knuckles took this into mind. Knuckles, the reason why we're doing a second run with Knuckles rather than just going back to Sonic and doing the same thing again is Knuckles has some alternate routes throughout the levels. And I'm going to be going out of my way to show off as many of these as I can. I did cross-reference some maps to make sure I was going the right way. You know, I put unnecessary level of thought into these.
Okay.
But yeah, like Knuckles is also, I would say Shadow's my favourite Sonic character overall, but Knuckles is a very close second. So I also kind of wanted to show Knuckles off as well, you know?
It's funny you say Knuckles is your other favourite character, because I believe in Sonic Unleashed, wasn't there originally going to be a thing where if you collect all the day medals you can play as Knuckles, all the moon medals you can play as Shadow and whatnot?
I'm not sure if that was actually confirmed but as like a thing that was being worked on, but I definitely had heard a rumour along those lines.
Yes. I mean, I think, if I recall correctly, there was also the rumour that Knuckles and Shadow were going to appear in the exclusive levels in the 360 version and the PS3 version. And that's certainly a rumour that I recall happening around the same time that the game was coming out. Obviously, didn't actually happen, but you know, these things come out when games are just about to launch and people get excited and they want things to happen.
Yeah, they make up spurious rumours and whatnot, like Tails will have a gun in the next 3D Sonic game. I think that actually might be happening in the Frontiers DLC. Whoopsie doodle. So yeah, as you can see here, Knuckles can just bust through rock walls, and we're fighting the same boss but in a different location, so it's completely original and well worth, going through the game again. I'm painting this like it's work or something. It's really not. I actually got all the Chaos Emeralds like an hour before we started recording, just to get myself used to stuff and whatnot. I died like 5 times in Angel Island Zone. Don't ask me why. I just said don't ask me why.
It's the Knuckles curse for you, Tom. That's what it is.
Oh no. Yeah, it's following me all these years. Look, alright, I was messing about with Tails, and I didn't realise I lacked the rings necessary to survive. And, the rest is history. Another new route for us here. Plenty of spikes. You gotta watch out for these, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tom, at least you managed to beat Knuckles this time.
So, Richie, have you ever played Knuckles' route in Free Game Mode?
Still never played either Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles or either of them together. I know Sonic Origins exists and I can, and it's never been easier, but life is there and I just still haven't gotten around to it. So, yes, but fun story is that I've realised that Sonic and Knuckles, so Sonic 3 and Knuckles, came out the year I was born.
Oh.
So I now feel really old.
Well, I think we're going to have an avenging my birth sort of thing for Richie, where he plays through the game.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day indeed. Holy shit, that was a really short second act. I guess Knuckles wanted to get straight to the point.
Yeah, that is a trend you might notice over the course of this playthrough. Sonic had the longer playtime. Knuckles, he kind of has a few shortcuts of his own that... Like, there's a reason why this playthrough is going to be quite a bit shorter than the Sonic one, and it will become immediately obvious as we go along.
I guess that makes sense from, like, a story perspective. It's his island. He would know all the ins and outs of it.
Story-wise, this game, like, this particular playthrough takes place after Sonic's run. Like, you will see him getting... Rather than having the direct conflict with Eggman, this game is more just like one of the Egg Robos is trolling Knuckles for shits and giggles. That's my interpretation of the story, at least.
That's a thing. Like, have we ever had a post-game story in a Sonic game before or since? Like, usually you would get the Chaos Emeralds, you'd get the good ending, and that was it. You're free to replay the game as much as you want. But here there's actually something new happening after the fact.
I think that's basically what Encore mode was. Like, it just had forces as a stopgap in the middle, then you come back to Mania and have another campaign.
Effectively.
In terms of the other games, I can't really think of anything like that, unless you count like the almost the same gameplay length again after the fact in Black Knight, but even that's a bit of a reach.
And that's more the second half of the game than post-game, I feel.
Yeah.
Pretty much, unless you're a journalist.
Yes. Although I have to say, I was just having a little look at Knuckles' Wikipedia page before starting, because you know how I love a Wikipedia page.
We know, yes.
And it was funny sort of looking at the reception and impact, and the two very different responses from two IGN journalists around Knuckles. So, IGN's Levi Buchanan said that fans seemed legitimately happy with the addition of Knuckles, which obviously is why Sonic and Knuckles ended up getting created. But he felt that characters who came after Knuckles started to go overboard. However, in contrast, IGN's Colin Moriarty singled out the introduction of both Knuckles and Tails as when the series became iffy, and listed them and all of the other characters in the series, apart from, Sonic and Dr. Eggman, as being second most in need to die on his top 10 list, because, that's a thing that people need to do, because, that's great, and... I know, it's one of those things where you're just like, I'm sorry, what are you smoking? Like, I get the whole thing of Sonic's crazy friends. After a certain point, it did begin to feel a little bit ridiculous because you were getting a new friend every other bloody game.
Yeah.
But even then, Knuckles is fine, Tails is fine, Amy's fine. Even, when you get into Shadow, and to be honest, all of them, there's not really been a truly horrendous friend character apart from Silver in his introduction.
Cream the Rabbit.
What?
Hey, Cream's lovely, but yeah, the raccoon, yes, no, I do get that one. But for the most part, there aren't any really truly terrible Sonic friends. It's just that whole... People like to get in a tizzy and on the high horse about how crap certain things are, and it's just like, if it's that much to offend you, really, you need to get a grip.
Really? When did that article come out, Rich?
Oh god. So that particular article was 2009. Video game characters that should die.
That's way too late. I was thinking it was around the game's release or something.
No, that was right there. Jesus wept.
My rebuttal to that is, Knuckles serves a pivotal role being Sonic's rival. Now, Shadow may have taken over that, and Knuckles is more of a friendly character these days, but, Knuckles was still there in Triple Trouble and whatnot, so it wasn't a one-and-done sort of deal. It's just ridiculous, really. The Sonic's shitty friends thing, to coin it properly, Richie.
Yes.
We must not whitewash history here, okay? I was there. I sat through all of this bollocks, and I still have the scars, to be perfectly honest, but we're getting into negative territory here. Flame, you like Knuckles. Are there any particular Knuckles moments in the history that really stand out for you, that represent the character well?
I think pretty much his entire story in SA1 is peak Knuckles. Part of what I like about this game's story is that Sonic 3 and Knuckles was pretty much the foundation that they used to work on for the next story going on. Because, Sonic 1 and 2, and to a degree CD, had, a very self-contained kind of story that didn't really lead into much. Whereas by the time you get to 3 and K, there's a reason why Sonic Adventure 1 was basically a direct sequel to this. They were starting to branch out to the world of Sonic, rather than just Sonic and a fat guy have a scrap. This game, because of that, it was a bit of a turning point in the Sonic series. And, like, admittedly, you know, like, the kind of articles Richie was talking about, I can see why they might turn to that as, like, the starting point or whatever. But at the same time, you know, they're putting story to add a bit more character into a video game. That's not really a problem. It didn't really become a problem until much, much later, so get over it.
Really? I think for me it would have to be the Knuckles strips in Sonic the comic, which really, you know, built upon his, like, loner persona, him dealing with his history and whatnot, and we'll get to this later, but he had an actual villain character himself called Dr. Zachary. He was a white echidna who feigned being good at first, but he's evil. You very nearly died there, Flame. You trying to give me a heart attack?
Look, it's a fucking pre-recorded video. Do you think I would have left it in if I died on screen? Come on.
True. And we had other Knuckles storylines, like the Master Emerald gets destroyed, so I think I've told this before, but he heads to, like, a graveyard of sorts where a warring tribe of dinosaurs got wiped out by the echidna, and the ghost, the patriarchal ghost of this place, holds him accountable and nearly kills him, but they end up being friends, and Knuckles walks away with a raw emerald that he cuts into a new Master Emerald.
Oh, no. Like, there is a bit of an elephant in the living room when you talk about Knuckles in comics, let's be real here, so...
I was trying to tiptoe around that. We are in, like, part 1 of 4 here. We can't run out of content right away.
I mean, what you're saying, like, you can say Ken Penders and, you know, that's like 4 videos worth of content in itself.
Yeah, we haven't even argued about Hydro City yet, come on.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, everyone knows it's Hydrocity, so I didn't really think it bore repeating.
That's alright, we'll let you have your little wrong opinion.
I didn't really want to bring this up, because it'll probably red pill you for the rest of your life, but you notice how there's peas on the wall over there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
He's everywhere. Penders is everywhere.
And now that's just making me think of the fact of Knuckles having a hat in various bits of the Sonic movie media, and the internet just going, oh my god!
Knuckles with a hat is actually a original character though, Rich, let's be fair here.
Oh, Christ, don't. But yeah, the hat that was introduced in the OVA, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it came, like, before that, but it's kind of become a thing for Knuckles. Like, he's had the hat in various costumes and games throughout the years. He's apparently going to be having it in the upcoming live-action CGI hybrid spin-off. So, you know, looking forward to that whenever the strike ends and they can actually get it out the door, you know.
Also, he did have it in the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which
he did.
Was another example, I think, of Knuckles being handled really well. Because, like, I remember the thing with Knuckles, and this was going to come up eventually, so we might as well just talk about it now.
Okay.
Knuckles' writing as a character, it's been quite inconsistent over the years.
Yes.
What I like about Knuckles is that he's the muscle character who maybe is held back in certain other mental areas, but he's not dumb. Like, Knuckles at his best is when he's a bit goofy, a bit gullible, but that's more because he's being a loner. And I feel like that writing and the adventure writing was spot on. I think the meta writing kind of flanderized him a bit much for my liking.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think there's it is a very weird space that Knuckles ended up in. He was either written as just incredibly dumb and thick, and that was that, or he was written as just being very grumpy, or there was never really any proper middle ground apart from in sort of those initial renderings in like the adventure era writing. And I think they have finally started to get back to more of that idea of Knuckles being sort of a badass, but also a bit dim, and the comedy coming from his misunderstandings of situations and his sort of approach to things and his gullibility, rather than just pushing it too far of being haha Knuckles dumb, which is what we did end up getting quite a lot of over the years.
I would say Frontiers is the best balance we've had probably since SA1. Like, I couldn't be happier with how pretty much all of the characters are portrayed in that game, and you know, a lot of that is owed to Ian Flynn. Like, I don't know exactly what elements he was responsible for, but knowing Smile, shall we say, you know, he is a big part of why things are getting back on track right now. And he may not agree with some of the stuff he says, but don't forget, he is beholden to Sega and Sonic Team, so he doesn't have all the answers. He can't grant your OC fantasies 99% of the time.
Ian Flynn, just in general, I think he's very good at character writing. He's very good at understanding why people like each of the Sonic characters and plays to their strengths, and that is pretty much why Frontiers writing clicked with me so much personally.
Yes. I think sort of, obviously, I know we're playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but just sort of one point with Frontiers, obviously, I don't think I was there for Frontiers. I think I dropped out. But Frontiers was excellent with its character writing, but it perhaps struggled a little bit in achieving its plot writing. I look forward to the day where we sort of get perhaps a slightly stronger melding of the two. That's partially, I think, in terms of how caused by the game structure and what it's doing it from a gameplay perspective. It doesn't really allow for that sort of plot stuff to be going on. So you get the focus on the characters, but that's a personal preference for how I like my stories. I love the character work that was done, and I just want to see more of that moving forward, because I think it's exactly where the franchise has needed to be with these characters for a very long time.
No, I think you got it spot on there, Rich. I was going to bring up the pace of Frontiers, and it's like, when you have an open world game, sometimes you have to sacrifice a more linear story. You know what I mean? There's a ton of optional stuff you can do and, you know, find in the game, and it can flesh out Knuckles a little bit. Like, he's basically an archaeology nerd. Like, he can verify and identify, or even identify and verify, different types of stonework and whatnot, and tell you roughly when the structures were made.
I mean, he's got to find a hobby somewhere when he's on the island alone, and let's be fair.
Oh, there's nothing to do but look at goddamn rocks on this goddamn island. He claims to hate Sonic, but he loves the social activity that comes with the blue balloon, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that I think they did really well in Frontiers is just the dynamic between Sonic and Knuckles. There's like, the rivalry's there, but there's also that sort of unspoken mutual respect in there that I think lands really well.
We've come a long way from this partnership is only temporary.
I think the other thing is that ultimately what you get with Sonic and Knuckles is effectively two brothers that just love taking the piss out of each other and mocking each other and trying to sort of one-up each other.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they will be there through thick and thin for each other, and even if they might annoy the other every now and again, they will be there, and that's obviously a really nice difference in comparison to, say, Shadow, who there's a lot more tension there, shall we say.
Well, Shadow's dynamic with Sonic, there's a lot more weight behind it, I would say. Like,
yes.
You know, all the shit with Maria and that happened in Shadow's own arc, and then if you can think about the different, like, diverging routes that we had in Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, the routes where Sonic was not even like directly working with Gun, but like just on the same side as Gun. There's a lot of weight there, you know, for Shadow to process.
Just the way you phrase that, like he's a fucking scab or something working for the government. Like, you realise these people killed essentially my sister, right, Sonic? Yeah, but they have a great pensions package.
Oh god.
Now let's see how this has changed, because obviously we don't have Tails to fly us around.
You say that, but it is possible to get Knuckles in Sonic's version of the fight, where Tails just appears out of nowhere to pick you up.
No, hey, you know, we got stuff to do right now. Sonic's getting ready for that 4th sequel, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, about that.
You know, these defamation visuals still get my goat all these years later. It's very impressive. Like, I think Hatok on Twitter said it best, one of my moots on there. This game is fucking gorgeous.
Oh, hell yeah.
It is really pretty, yeah. Like, there's certain things that I prefer about, like, CD's art style that kind of hits the sort of pseudo-vaporwave kind of thing that I like a lot. But this game has the more organic setting. It looks really nice. Here, Knuckles exclusive boss fight.
Oh wow, I do not remember this at all.
It's the same robot, the Drillmobile, but it's got a completely different pattern to when you're fighting him in the air with Sonic and Tails.
Interesting.
Well, it's that much more exciting, let's be real here.
I have to say, it is an interesting pattern in terms of the fact of it's nice that you can kind of go, oh, okay, I get what he's doing after the first attack, and then it's a case of going, oh, okay, now I've just got to figure out where to hit him. Whereas, you know, sometimes you get bosses where you're just like, what on earth am I meant to do other than just hit him? There's a little bit of cleverness there.
Ooh, yes, a little bit of savviness there that only Knuckles himself can exploit, shall we say. Alright, folks, we'll see you next time for more Knuckles story. That's free and carry.